nowhere to keep that.
These bosses really suck. So we throw this down, activate that, we kill the lord of the one guy, and then boom, they're dead. What's up, guys? We're here. Welcome back to the channel. So I'm very, very excited to bring you this build today for the Titan, and we're talking about Forge Hammer. This is going to be my Thor's hammer, Thor's Forge Hammer build for you guys. I was really excited when I first saw Forge Hammer in the early trailers for this league, and I really wanted to pull something together for this. So I want to give a big shout out to King Conger, who had an inspiration behind this build because he has a build that's very similar. So I wanted to do my take on it and just go pure lightning on this build, even though we're doing a lot of fire damage. So there's a lot of things that I really did with this build that I think is very cool and very fun, and I'm going to have a lot of options for you guys, a lot of really cool variations and things that you can pick from. And then there's still a lot of things that I'm really working on this build. But without further ado, as you guys saw in the intro, let's go ahead and break this down. So we're playing Thor's Hammer, Forge Hammer. So there's two variations to Forge Hammer. You can throw it, and then you can press the button again to call it back. And then there's you can throw the hammer into the ground, and then you activate a war cry, and it makes these fissures, and then you can activate the fissures by using any slam attack. We don't use the fissures in this build except for bosses. We only use the Thor's hammer to throw and just nuke the screen as much as we can, because I know that they changed a lot of the heralds and how they work, but we're throwing our hammer to nuke the screen as best we can, and we got some really cool ways that we do this. So we only throw it, return it back, as you guys saw in the gameplay, and I think it just makes it for a very simple and fun gameplay to use with a warrior, and it gives some range and just some really cool things. So let's go ahead and go into the skill tree here and talk about what I'm doing. We're in maps, we're around doing like T12s, T10s, T11s, somewhere in there. I think this is a T12. Yeah, 76. This is a T12. All right, so let's get right into the skills, guys. As you can see here, I do need to highlight that we have the heroic armor, the Combing Calamity, which gives us all three heralds. I'm not going to talk about these just yet. We'll come back to that later, because I have my own herald that I was using until I decided to put this chest piece on. So we'll talk about that in just a second. So here's the baseline of the build. We are doing Forge Hammer. We have rapid attacks as well as heft for more damage, elemental armament for more damage, fire attunement for more damage, as well as Fist of War to give us ancestral boosted. And then that is 30% more damage and a 25% increase effect. It'll hit 2 additional enemies. This is awesome. Trigger skills cannot be ancestrally boosted, and it also counts as being empowered. So we can only get that every 4 seconds, which is great. This is still really kind of a free spot, which I'll talk about in just a second in the options portion of the video. And then next we have Herald of Thunder, so that way we get all of our procs for Herald of Lightning to hit. We have Elemental Armament 2, Long Shot for longer reach, Overreach for even more area of effect, Elemental Focus for more damage, as well as Lightning Mastery for another level. Then we got a defensive layer here in Wind Dancer. We got Rage 3, Blind 2, Precision 1, and then Life Leech 3, so that way we can get some more life leech back, which is great. This really works out well. Next, we got Earth Shatter here with Heavy Swing, Execute 2, Brancing Fissures 2, as well as Rapid Attacks and Close Combat for more damage. Also, instead of Fist of War, you could also do Execute 2 here, which is great, which puts enemies on low life. It does 50% more damage just to kind of get rid of monsters. This is also a strong option. Next, we got Infernal Cry and Seismic Cry with Raging Cry, Magnified Area, Cooldown Recovery. And then on Seismic Cry, we got Perpetual Charge, Cooldown Recovery, as well as Tireless, which is great. And then I did use Shockwave Totem going through this build, but I don't really use this at all anymore. It's not even on my tree. So this is the basis of the build, guys. This is all you actually need. And then you're just going to be throwing your hammer back and forth and just kind of tapping this, okay? So let's get into the gear slot here. Now, when it comes to this build, we had to do a lot of really cool things. We were attribute stacking for a good long while because we are doing Giant's Blood, or Giant's Bane. I think it's called Giant's Bane. Where is it? Giant's Blood. So we can wield a two-handed axe, mace, or sword in one hand with triple the attribute requirements, and inherent life gained by this is in half. So we only have 2,100 life. I am currently level 84. This actually would be closer to 3,000 if I took off Giant's Blood, but Giant's Blood is what allows us to use this two-hander along with our shield. Now, our two-hander is one of the most important pieces of the build. It's going to have fizz damage. The added lightning isn't necessary. It can be any element or just something else. We want as much attack speed as possible. I only have 15%. I really want to get it to 25 or higher, 26 or higher. And then plus 6 levels to all attack skills at a minimum. And then we got the 20% chance to gain Onslaught on killing hits with the weapon. Onslaught gives us more skill speed, more increased movement speed. It lasts 4 seconds. After that, we're going to our shield here, the Churn Bogs. This gives us a huge amount of resistances and chaos res. And then we gain 1% of damage as fire damage per 1% block chance. So the higher block chance that we have, the more damage that we do. My current block chance at the moment is 33%. So we get a nice 33% boost in damage there. If we go over to Forge Hammer and we take this off, we lose about 20k worth of damage, which is kind of crazy. It's a lot of damage, so make sure to get the shield, and it's relatively cheap. Next, now, we had to go to 3 dragons because we were having issues proccing our Lightning Herald. Okay, so Herald of Lightning, or Herald of Thunder, we were having issues proccing it, especially considering that Forge Hammer makes this build do fire damage. 30% of our fizz damage is converted to fire when we throw this hammer. So we ended up converting all of our damage to fire. And then the 3 dragons says that our fire damage from hits contribute to shock chance instead of flammability and ignite magnitude. So this is what helps us convert that fire into shock chance, which helps us proc Herald of Thunder. You don't really see a whole lot of procking if you're not wearing this helmet. Although there's a few variations that we can try to do to get it to work. So I'll talk about that in just a little bit. But for this version, we're doing the 3 dragons. Next, we have Astromantis. This is mainly only used because of Giant's Blood and how it triples our stats. As you can see here, I have to have 402 strength to use this hammer, and I have 535. If I take this off, I can still use the hammer, but now I can't use my other stats because I need more intelligence. So in theory, you could get away with not using this Astromantis if you wanted to. You could change the tree around and like put some more stuff into intelligence to get to like 48 here. Although one negative about this variation of the build is I kind of just took gear choices to just get the gear, and I haven't really honed in on a defense, which I'll talk about in just a second. But Astromantis is just here to kind of hit these attribute marks. Next we have is the Combing Calamity. This is going to be used to just do our triple heralds, which is great. It allows us to really just have more explosions and have a bigger AoE in the build. Next we have the Trample Toe Boots. This allows us to have 35% of overkill damage to enemies within 2 meters of that killed enemy. So anytime we do overkill damage to an enemy and cause explosions, we get another explosion, which just allows us to deal more damage, which gives us more screen clear, which is really nice. After that, it's pretty basic stuff. You want triple res or like strength and 2 reses and life in your belt. In your gloves, you want to have plus to melee skills and attack speed, and leech is very important here. You want to have leech, and then adds lightning damage is great, or something else. Life would be great on here, but I don't have it. In my rings, we got more fizz and lightning damage with attributes and reses. Same thing here. More fizz damage, fire damage, lightning damage, and attributes and all res, which is great. And that's it, guys. As far as the runes, you want to do iron runes here. I have greater robust for strength. Same thing with iron runes here. And then I just kind of have more strength runes and cold res and just stuff to kind of cap some reses. I think I'm overcapped right now pretty good. Okay, so now that we have the gear and the skills done, guys, let's talk about some variations here before I get into the passive tree. So there's a lot of variations that you can do with the build. I will go over what is required and what's not required. So the 3 dragons is 100% required if you want to use Herald of Thunder. The shield is 100% required. These are the only 2 uniques that are 100% required. I think you would be able to change out Astromantis and do a regular amulet and just change the tree around. Maybe you could even get an amulet that just has plus intelligence on it and you're good to go. So these two are mandatory. Everything else can be really changed. You do not need the trample toe boots. You can just swap out boots like this, which is great. Move speed, armor, reses, regen, and life is fantastic. Another way that we can really try if we go pure attribute stacking is to use Hands of Wisdom in action. This is really good. We can swap these out. Although I know a lot of people don't like that, Hands of Wisdom action kind of fell by the wayside, because in reality, more levels to your skills provides more damage. And we'd have to really attribute and balance stack all of this to really make this worth it. As you can see, my attack speed is 159. If I go here, it's actually better with my regular gloves on. But that's mainly because my dexterity is not high at the moment. But that is a route you can choose to take if you really want to kind of build on this variation of Thor's hammer. Next, the chest piece. You do not need that chest piece. This is a very basic chest piece that I have for this build. It's just triple res, life, and a crap ton of armor. One kind of negative that I have about this build is, although our block chance is 33%, I don't really have any ES and my evasion is 0. So armor is like the only stat that we really have. So the Combing Calamity, may just come off and we just kind of leave this as is, and our armor goes up to, we gain 7%. Same thing here. If we swap the boots out, now we're at 30%, which is nice. We can really just kind of build in some armor. The gloves would be also something that we would want to hone in on. I kind of just got these to put the build together and just kind of see how it works and show you guys. I would really love for my gloves to be a pure armor base with similar stats. That way we could just have a second layer of defense, because even though my life is decent right now, taking hits kind of sucks with the build. So, because we have no real other layer of protection, and armor to me, it seems fine right now, but I don't know. You guys let me know what you think about armor down in the comments, but this is kind of just what I feel about it. It's just okay. So you don't really need a lot of these gear choices. The boots can be very, very strong early on because it gives us a lot of explosion and AoE clear. The Combing Calamity is 100% not necessary whatsoever. If you guys do want to take it, I would say Cannibalism, Elemental Armament, or Cannibalism would go inside the Herald of Ash, and then you would want a Magnified Area, and then in the Herald of Ice, you want Primal or Elemental Armament, Cold Attunement, Cold Mastery, and Elemental Focus, and that's what I would wear inside the Herald of Frost. So that's what I would do for those if you want to use Combing Calamity. This is also a really good way to hit all of your reses. I'm still capped. Yeah, I know I'm 4% off, but I can fix that. It's not a big deal. Now, let's go ahead and get into the passive tree, because those are the changes that you can make with the gear slots. Let's go ahead and... let's go into skills real quick, just as a showcase. Now, you do not have to use Wind Dancer as a defensive layer. You could take this off, and if you do want to swap out Wind Dancer, I would 100% do Herald of... I would do Herald of Ash just for more explosions. I think that would just be really, really nice. I also would like to take off Blind and put on Cannibalism. I would swap this out if you are going to stay with this, just because this gives us more life leech, just to kind of stay alive. But now let's get into one skill change that you can do here. I originally wanted to do Atuli's Bloodletting, and it converts all of our life costs into, or our mana costs into life costs. However, we gain 2% of extra physical damage per 10 life, but this doesn't change my tree. Okay, my damage, and I'll show you why. The reason it doesn't change my tree, although this is probably one of the best lineage supports in the game, it is because I currently am using Avatar of Fire. Now, we have to use Avatar of Fire to convert all of our fire damage into hits to do shock chance to trigger our Herald of Thunder. If I remove this, I only have 30% of fire damage being converted over, or fizz damage being converted to fire. So we're not going to have procs on every single hit like we want. But if I take this off, then I go into my skill and I add Bloodletting, we gain, what is that, 8, 16, so we gain 24,000 DPS, which is crazy. It's a lot of damage. This is one of the best lineages in the game. But we're just not going to get our Herald of Thunder procs every single time to help us with our clear. But this is a choice you can make up for you. I do think that the bloodletting is slightly better, because if we go in here and we just try to like clear some and kill some monsters, I don't even know how many are left. 45 are left. So like we're not gonna get the procs every single time, which is okay. But like our clear and damage is so much better, and then this costing 203 life kind of helps balance our Earth Shatter. So we're not gonna get the Herald of Thunder procs every single time, which is kind of a bummer. But if I add this back in, and if I can find a pack, which is just probably gone, we will get Herald of Thunder procs every single time, like you guys saw at the beginning of the video. So this is kind of, it's kind of a bummer. It's like a two-way like bummer here, but bloodletting gives us so much damage. So it's kind of like, do you want to proc Herald of Thunder every time or not? I do, because I like, this is the theme of the build. So I have Fist of War in. You could also like really do Execute. This is also very, very strong. I would highly do this or the Fist of War. So those are your options between the three. Okay, now let's get into the passive tree. We are a Titan. This is very, very fun. I love Titan. To me, I think it's like one of my favorite ascendancies in Path of Exile 2. We are doing Earthbreaker for more chance for our slam skills to do aftershocks. This throw is a slam, so this is really nice. Wait, is it a slam? Let me double check. Let me make sure it's a slam. Yeah, it's a slam. Okay. Then we're doing, obviously, Colossal Capacity for more slots, and then Hulky Form. It's like one of the best nodes in the game for 50% increased small passive skills. And then we're taking Mysterious Lineage for just more life. Now, the main thing here through this tree is we want attack speed nodes, strength through the tree, and then we want anything that's going to give us bigger area of effect, so that way when we throw our hammer, we are going to do more damage, hit more monsters, and kill them quickly. So we have Impact Force, Impact Area. We got Behemoth, which is great. We actually need to increase the size here. I actually need to swap these over. I took this just for the points early on. We are taking Unbinding for more life and strength, more life and threshold. We're taking Aftershocks for more area of damage and strength. Same thing with Vigilance here for block. We're also taking Crushing Verdict here for, I know it's reduced attack speed because we want it, but it's 50% more attack damage, which is crazy. The jewel slot that we have here is against the Darkness Time Lost Jewel. We have increased lightning res and increased strength per notable, so we get 3% more strength through here. This is to help us hit that 402 strength requirement. Then, of course, like I described, Avatar Fire. Then we got Brute Strength for more damage. We are also taking Giant's Blood, as explained earlier. We have a basic jewel here for just life recovery. I'm not sure what else I'm going to add here, but I've just been using this for the return on life. Then we got Unyielding for attack speed. We are also taking a lot of attack speed nodes here with Blurred Motion. I am actually coming up and I'm grabbing Mass Hysteria, so I'm getting my next 4 points are going to be here into Mass Hysteria. We have Anointed on Lay Siege for 1% increased damage per 1% block chance. This is another reason why we have the shield. As I mentioned earlier, I have 33% block chance, so Lay Siege gives us 33% increased damage. Absolutely nutty. We come down here, we got Authority for more area of effect and cooldown, more armor break, and more attack area damage. And then these nodes, to me, are non-negotiable. We got Momentum, which ignores the move speed penalties from armor, which is fantastic. It allows you to move much faster. And then I took Light on Your Feet for the Hinder and Maim. This is also very good for us, although you may be able to get away with these 3 points and put them somewhere else. But 6% extra move speed is actually kind of nice, especially if you're going to be using Trample Toe, because Trample Toe only gives us 16% move speed with Corruption. Otherwise, it's 15, which really sucks. If I go in here and show my move speed bonus, right now we are at move speed modifiers 29%. If I put on normal 30% move speed boots, we go to 43%, which is crazy. Very, very good. Next in the tree, we just come down here for more attributes with Jack of all trades. And then we grab Sand in the Eyes with the attack nodes here for more attack speed. I need as much attack speed on this build as possible to make it feel really, really nice. So I will let you know when I get these points up here. I'm considering removing these points right here and maybe just changing a point somewhere over here just to kind of get to these points earlier when I level up. I think I'll replace these 3 points here just to grab these 4 just to see how it feels. But right now, this is the tree, guys. I think it's pretty solid. It's not bad at all. And the Avatar Fire really makes everything pop. So let's get into the boss mechanics of this build. As you guys already saw, when we're just kind of running around and doing like clearing, we're really only throwing the hammer. If you guys do have any issues with like mobs or like rares or elites, I like to do this. I like to throw down my Earth Shatter, and then you activate a cry, and it should kill them. Okay, it should kill them, no problem. Now that we're going to have the hammer cost mana, we really need to have something for mana on kill, because we only have 713 mana, so I can only cast this like a few times before it runs out, which is kind of a bummer. That's why I also really love Atuli's Bloodletting in here. Now, I am going to put the Bloodletting in here just to showcase this for the boss fight. But yeah, let's go ahead and do this boss fight. So how the boss fight rotation works is we're going to let them load in or whatever, and then we're going to just throw down our Earth Shatters. And then we're going to throw down our hammer. When we're available to hit them, we're just going to activate a cry. It's going to just like deal a massive amount of damage. And then we're just going to smash these down to just initiate the fissures. And then we're going to activate our other cry and crack this, and this should kill them. So that's what it should do. And then when you get your hammer back, you can just throw it. So let's go showcase this. I really hate this fight. These bosses really suck. So we throw this down, activate that, we kill the lord of the one guy, and then boom, they're dead. So boss fights are really, really strong with this combination here of just destroying them. It's really, really good. So I guess that was a T13 or T12. I think T on maps. But yeah, that combination for the bosses is just so, so strong. I really do enjoy it. So yeah, guys, this is what I have for the build. I know there's a lot in this video. Please feel free to like the video. I do appreciate it. It helps me out. And then comment down below. Let me know if you guys have any questions about this. I know I covered a lot of stuff in the video. So please just let me know. I'll answer as much as possible. And yeah, this is Thor's hammer. I'm really, really enjoying it. I think it's super fun. But yeah, this is what we have, guys. So thank you so much for watching. And as always, stay gaming. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.